Good afternoon, everyone. I see we've got a lot of wonderful people here today. Um, Thank you for all joining early and watching our pre-warm-up videos. We are starting now, so I would like to welcome everyone to the Tea Processing Unlocked webinar, Modernizing Tea Processing, Bridging the Gap Between Industry Needs and Technology Solutions. My name is Priya Chana. I'll be your host today and moderating the session. The session will bring together industry leaders, financial experts, technology innovators who are actively shaping the future of tea in East Africa. Our goal today is to shine a light on the opportunities and challenges facing the tea sector as it transitions towards mechanization and value addition, and to explore actionable strategies in moving forward. One of these strategies is to discuss the benefits of accessing new markets by diversifying tea production from the standard bulk commodity of CTC to orthodox teas. The crux of this transition lies not only in value addition, but in leveraging the right processing equipment to meet the stringent regulatory standards required for export and global competitiveness. During this session, we want it to be interactive. We want your feedback. Please note we have locked the chat box, but you can put all your comments and your questions into the Q&A. Please feel free to put as many questions in there. We will get to them during the panel and also the Q&A session at the end. And whichever questions we do not get to in today's session, we will circulate to the experts in the room. They will provide their input, and then we will circulate it. So to officially welcome the session, we're honored to be joined by Brent Mahale, the Group Chief Strategy Officer at Equity Group Holdings. Brent brings over 16 years of global experience in financial services across institutions like JP Morgan, Rich Ratings, Investec, and Standard Bank. Since 2016, he has led our strategic initiatives across our regional markets and is deeply involved in guiding the group's investment and development priorities. Brent, over to you for our first 5 minutes welcome remarks.
Great, thanks, Priya. Can you just confirm if you can see?
I can see you, but your presentation, you need to double click to enter full screen mode. Double click on your computer.
Is it on now?
Not quite yet.
Okay, but as it loads, good day everyone, and thank you for joining us on this tea series. And maybe just a bit of background on Equity Group and what it's doing. Equity Group is a $14 billion financial services group operating across East and Central Africa. And our strategic plan is ultimately to help develop African value chains in a very holistic and integrated manner. So this initiative around tea really speaks to this strategic plan that we have that looks at everything from the farmers and access to inputs, all the way to processing of the tea, all the way to accessing global markets. So maybe just to set the scene around tea, and specifically in Kenya, you'll appreciate that Kenya is the third largest producer of tea leaf, with around 8% of global production of tea leaf. It is also is the #1 exporter of black tea, and is the third largest producer of tea in the world. What is also important to highlight, and why there is a focus on quality, at least for Kenya, is that because of the altitude, the soils that Kenya has, and the rainfall in the tea growing areas, there is real potential for Kenya to be a much higher quality producer, which it already is. So these webinars, or this webinar, is intended to support the tea value chain in mechanizing and increasing productivity and value adding. So with that, I would like to pass over to Priya to continue with the webinar. Thank you all. Priya, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, no, thank you, Brent, for setting the tone and reaffirming Equity Group's strategic commitment to agriculture transformation with a keen focus on the tea sector. I know Brent would love to talk about many value chains in agriculture, but we are going to be moving on now to a very honored guest that we have with us today. I'm pleased to present from our regulatory body and side, from the Kenya Tea Board, the CEO, Mr. Willie K. Mutai. If we could, Brian, if we can put Willie's, Ms. Mutai's screen on and pin it to the center. Mr. Mutai has served the tea industry for years through both KTDA and the Kenya Tea Board, and was appointed the CEO in 2023. He is currently spearheading reforms in the auction systems, promoting value addition, ensuring global competitiveness of the Kenya tea, and negotiating soft tariffs as part of bilateral agreements from the national government to other governments across the world. He is promoting tea, and I will hand over to Willie. Mr. Mutai, it's up to you. The floor is yours. You have the next 5 minutes to give us a powerful presentation. Mr. Mutai, can you hear me?
Thank you, Priyan. I think I can put up the video. I'll highlight, I think, the initiative that we are pursuing for the Kenya tea industry. One of the issues is we are focusing on the value addition, and we want to make Kenya tea as a supplier of value-added teas. We have been, for the longest time, over 63 years, we have been the net exporter of the bulk raw material to the various market destinations. So there are 3 initiatives that we have done. One is I think we have done 3 approvals by the government. The initiative for modernization of the tea factories, I think there is another concept that I had shared with the organizers of this webinar. And in that one, before I move to my slides, I want to use 1 minute to spell. We have really organized all the 71 small-scale tea factories to be modernized in aspect of the efficient machines, including the latest technologies in withering. We are praised with so many good companies who have come handy in terms of facilitating the tea factories to have the modern machineries. So we have a plan, I think, with the latest of today, where we have asked the factories who need what we call government concessionary loans of 5% to modernize and put equipment that are cost-cutting and which and produce a quality teas. And we are expanding into perspective the pride on the Black City. And the second one is diversifying into orthodoxies to match the competing countries. So all those are in place, and we will be like in the next 3 months, all the factories run by KTDA will be fully modernized to the high speed and with the latest technologies. So at the tail end of what we produce now on orthodox and again CTC, we will look in now to focus on the common user facility infrastructure to tap in on when we produce the best quality tea, how do you pack to sell it in the global market. So we will come in now of pumping in the equipment on the common user facility. So the outlay for the country as it stands is the tea supports 834,000 farmers, 129, with direct dependent on the livelihood and 6.5 million people who are depending on tea. Tea still again keep 4% of the agriculture GDP and 2% of the Kenyan GDP, and 21% of the export earning, what we export in this country. And with the outlook market value of the tea sector last year was 215 billion, and we are targeting to be 260 billion this year. By the end of this year, the mark for the export earning will have hit around 260 billion. So again, we are in the 21 counties, and then we are dominant and a leader of black CTC tea in the global market. And we are again pursuing now to push the diversification of good orthodoxies, with now putting up with so many companies coming in and matching up with the Sri Lanka, which is the lead, and we give them credit on the same. So that is the outlook for the general overview for the industry. And it's a priority value chain number one in the Kenya government dispensation at the moment. So move on to the second slide. That is the structure of the tea industry in Kenya. We have the production, regulatory agents, and the trade and promotion. So all the entire outlook now is there are three aspects of how we manufacture tea. We have the small scale farmer, which are 71 factories. We have the private companies, which have come handy into the gap between the multinational and the private and the small scale, so which are around 45 factories. And we have the large scale now, with the leading now being the largest is Crown Plantation, which came in and matched two big estates, which was the James Finlay and the former Unilever. So that is now another new incoming model, which we are anticipating now to invest in technologies and knowledge from the new entrant in the tea ecosystem. And then we have the two factories for government, that's a Nyayo Tea Zone. And we have now the small cottages factories, which are purely on specialized tea manufacturers. Then the rest are the normal trade. On the trade, where we are heading to now is we want to digitalize the trade so that it can make sure that whatever that we are selling makes sense. I don't know whether, thank you, move on. I was in the space discussing that we will be pursuing the digital marketing space. So the others now is Tea Board of Kenya is a regulatory body in the Republic of Kenya under Cap 343. And our mandate is very specific. We regulate the entire tea sector. We regulate, develop, and promote and market Kenya teas. And that is the aspect of the development. The development we are pursuing now, the diversification, we are pursuing the development of innovation of new products, and then enriching the more markets. Promotion, we have a robust plan on how we will market our teas. In terms of the regulation, that is the aspect of licensing. We are so robust in terms of the digital licensing. When you put your license, you can get within 7 working days. For the renewal is within 24/7. So at night, if you need your license, it's online. Even the new entrant, again, we make it so robust to even on board. We are opening up to the new buyers all over the world without keeping a lot of condition. FDIs, we are bringing in a lot of FDIs. Majority are currently from India, Sri Lanka. Move on. The next slide, please. Those are the generic functions, regulation, the way I've said. We have pursued, and the latest is we have put up a robust lab for checking the quality assurance. And then in terms of the promotion, we have locked in the industry people that the onboarding of the facilitation of marketing addition of Kenya teas through a lot of market information and intelligence. That's what we do. We have organized so many trade missions that we will be pursuing. With the latest now is the one for the US, which we are going with the stakeholders, and we have booked up now what you call the emerging market for what you call the supermarket brands. So we are pursuing with the latest negotiation with the Walmart, so that we can pursue to make sure that our teas reaches the fine end of the various market in those markets. We are also doing what we call the Kenya Produce platform, which we have organized a trade mission between Kenya and Pakistan in November. Again, now in January, the one for the cow food, and we are doing it this time around as a produce of Kenya. And we are going in with the banks coming on board. And again, we will be launching the digital platform, which will allow people now to sell from their factories or their packing unit to the various sites of the world. So move on. Slide 5. In terms of capacity building, that's what we are pursuing now. With the latest of yesterday, my team was coming back from China, and we are pursuing the China technologies to make sure that whatever that we are producing is aligned with the market. So that is the latest, the outlook for performance for the last 10 years. So with the latest in terms of production, last year we were 598, and this year might be slightly less by 10 million. So this year is not a very good year in terms of the production. I think we have experienced some challenges in the tea producing county. So we are likely to be around 590 million, 585 there. But in terms of the export earning, we will be at 250. I think there's move on.
If we can ask Choi to mute, and then Willie, can we jump to the bit about the common user facility? Mr. Choi Dong?
Yes, move on. I think those are the generic information that are in the public domain. Yes. That's okay. That's okay. So
I'm sorry, Mr. Mutai. We're just gonna let's just see if we can get hold of Mr. Choi to mute. Mr. Choi?
Hello, yes.
So
there is another participant with Choi Dong login. If that person could mute, that would be fantastic.
It's my turn? It's my turn?
If that is okay, I can move to the latest initiative of the Common User Facility, which we are pursuing to make sure that we make a scheme for the export houses, trading companies to pack teas. You can pack tea in Yemen, you can pack tea in Mali, and it can be packed in Kenya, and it can be sent to you. So what we have done, phase one, is we have capacitated the Keteba as a brand to have a common user facility with what we call possessory loans that can activate them to have the latest machine. And again, we have loading FDIs from Sri Lanka, from India, to make sure that whoever want to get a license for value addition are licensed within the highest speed. And then we are now giving an opportunity for contract packing facility for anyone who want to pack tea in Kenya and sell to where they want to sell. And then we have locked in the what we call logistical possessory freights, and to allow teas to reach to various destination with an agreed rates. And then we are allowing again anyone who want to establish at a special economic zones for that common user program. And then we are capacity building now through the banks. I think yesterday we were with Equity to make sure that anyone who will come in future are trained on how do you prepare for the export, what funds do you need to do, and then I've installed again a lab which is now ongoing, and it should be assuring anyone who buys anywhere all over the world that teas produced from Kenya meet all the international standards. And we will also digitalize this lab. Once you measure the tea or analyze the tea, it can reach anywhere, and we can stand in as a government agency that these teas meet all the international requirements. So move on, to the last two slides. That is an example of how the outlook for the common user facility, and we are anticipating to do it, one in Nairobi. The one for Kataba phase 3 will be in Mombasa. So we are again aligned. That will be, that's a typical example of how the user, the infrastructure, the packaging, all those now will be in one house. And we are targeting now, bringing in the warehouses of equivalent initially we have started with 49 countries from that logistical company, which we are bringing on board, so that they will pick the brand and distribute to the various warehouses where we have agreed, and that's what the government is pursuing. And we are aligned with the ACFT, African Continental Free Trade Agreement, to make sure that we reach now the various market destinations. And again, the exports consortium will gradually be given now to make sure that export is having a stability in long run, so that whatever that what you need in Ghana, it can reach you continuously, not like one consignment, the following you stay for 3 months. So the logistical company will make sure that the flow of the finished product are reaching the various market destination in a value-added form, and in an agreed rate in terms of the freight charges that is normally it hinders the value addition. Move on.
Thank you, Mr. Mutai. Do we have another slide?
The last slide, I think, that is warehouses at the airports. Again, we will be pursuing people who can use the freight in the airports and utilizing what you call the available capacities in airports, like the one for Eldoret. The cargo freights, I think that is the one which bring cargoes from the various countries and they are going return without the cargo. So that's again the opportunity that we are trying to pursue with the Kenya Airways. Thank you. I think that is maybe the last slide. I think doesn't have much. So that is the essence of the common user facility, and that is the purpose. That's why we are pushing up and again attracting guys who will purely be installing the machineries for packing, and then they will only charge services for packing for the private labels. So that is the initiative for this year, and with the latest of assurance that we have dispatched what we are calling more than 84 months loans from the government side. So for modernizing the factories, and again for remodernizing it, but the rest now will be on PPP model, which we are pursuing as a government. And then the last one now is we will move to what we call Kenya digital marketing space. So, and we will be looping in to the various e-commerces, and we are anticipating to launch the same space. I think when we go to the US, we want to launch that digital marketing space. And then we bring in the banks now. Banks come in when you pay from wherever you are, Equity or any bank that will be on board, will assure the person packing tea that your money has been paid, kindly complete the consignment and then it reach. Like the way these other e-commerces works. So I think that is in a nutshell the preparedness and looping in the support. The last one now is the GI, which we are working with the bank. I think Equity. Sorry.
Ms. Mutai, I do need to call time, but we will talk about the GI at another session.
Thank you. I think that is it.
Until we have our panel.
The rest of the photos are what is in the common user facilities where we have benchmark. So I think with those few slides, I think that is it from the Kenya side. And the people that you are targeting, I think is very, very simple. The manufacturers, the tea exporters. Thank you.
So that was been a really, thank you, Mr. Mutai. It's a powerful vision that you have, and your leadership is really guiding the evolution of the tea sector. We're going to request that we share your slide to the attendees. So, we'll get the edited version, PDF it, and share it to everyone. And then I know in time we're going to have another tea webinar, and we will have more details and more to present. But we have Mr. Mutai on our panel discussion later. So I do encourage everyone, I know there's so many questions that you have. Please put them in the chat. So we can have in the Q&A, so we can ask Mr. Mutai to answer these questions on the Q&A. I'm going to ask our tech team to put on the next screen so we can move to the next part. Mr. Mutai, thank you so much. We're loading now as we move into the context presentation. What is it about tea? What is it about value addition? And to set the stage with data and insight into East Africa's tea landscape, I'd like to welcome Michael Ranji, our tea specialist in Equity Group. It's on our Food and Agriculture division. And again, any questions you have, if you're listening in and want financing, please put the request in our Q&A. If there's anyone specific you'd like an introduction to, please put that in the Q&A chat box, and we will make sure that is happening. Michael has worked closely with all our processors and exporters for over 5 to 8 years now, to access industry gaps, opportunities, and have the bank's ecosystem approach to the value chain. Michael, over to you. I know we are giving you a few minutes, but his presentation will also be shared. He's just going to give you a context of how big the tea opportunity is and why we're talking about orthodox tea. Michael?
Yeah, thank you everyone and Priya for this opportunity. I'm glad actually Willie has done us justice, has done much to what I'll be capturing. So this slide is talking about the outlook of tea industry in the world, and the numbers are showing that there is future. You could see even the value to the GDP, the projected growth, and even what the Kenya does best. We've talked of CTC, it's also reading 60%. So you can move to the other one, the other slide. Yeah, this is the Africa outlook. We have 10 producing countries, and you can see their contribution. Kenya doing way above the others, around 70%. And the auction is usually done at Mombasa here. They aggregate there, and it is the world largest auction platform that goes on every week. And key to note here, I'm bringing your attention, the CTC constitute 99% of Africa tea production. So the other one, allow me to take a few minutes here, maybe 1 or 2. This is the value chain. It has been explained, but just to highlight, the tea producers are segmented as smallholder farmers who are grouped, are the owners of KTDA factories, which we were told were 71. We have around 650,000. We also have tea estates, which some of them are private tea private tea factories. The processing happens within the first 8 hours of production. Then the made tea is transported all the way to the registered warehouses, and then the process of auction takes place. So we could see the values that are moving, but key to note for the delegates available here is that the ownership of tea remains with the producer until auction is done. So also when we come to value addition, we want that to happen. Let value addition take place before the auction happens, or even the sale, so that now the value is realized by everyone in the value chain. So you can move to the other one. So this is the context of this engagement. And colleagues, I want you to pay attention to what we have been doing. It's what we call trading in commodities. So we will be doing bulky selling of the product in bags that are 65, 70 kgs. And to some level, it have served its purpose. That we've been able to be moving the volumes. We've had 994 million kgs we are selling every year. But look at the earnings. For a kg, we are selling at an average 2.23 USD per kg. And this one has remained over years, so many years. 10 years back the line, this is what has been realized by our farmers, our producers. But what we are moving at, and allow me to use an example of one of a player in the tea value chain, that is Kericho Gold. We want to move to marketing of consumer products such that we will be able to realize value. Look at the value there. 1 kg, we will be able to realize a value of 86 USD per kg. A great move. What have these people done? Not further processing to the product. It's just packaging, blending, favoring, or even the certification that they get. So this is the end we want to move. More importantly, we want to have specialty processing that is orthodox. And what will happen to us is that we will be able to fetch new markets. We will be able to expand the markets that we have and increase the value of our tea. Allow me to mention what we intend to do as Equity Bank. We want to partner with the suppliers of these materials, whether it's to do with the machineries. We are able to do the trade financing, whether it will be LC, whether it will be now crystallizing the facility as a term facility when it matures. There is seamless payment of the produce, that is the pre-shipment tea product. We have it because we also want to increase production. And also we want to ensure that the producers are able to access quality machineries that are applying in the season, and they are the ones that are the newest in the market. So for us, and I know the panelists will be able to answer this question, if we can be able to crack this slide, will be well. And Equity Bank, we are able to work with everyone within the value chain. Thank you, and back to you, Priya.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael Ranji. And thank you so much for grounding us on the current realities of the tea value chain and the emerging opportunities across Kenya's tea ecosystem, especially when we're talking about value addition. This is a perfect way to segue into our panel discussion and featuring a powerhouse of experience across the value chain. So I'd like to quickly introduce our panelists. They're going to be pinned on here. You all know Mr. Willie Mutai, the CEO of the Kenya Tea Board. He is still with us, so please keep adding your questions. We also are joined by the director and managing director of Global Tea and Commodities, which is actually the producer of Kericho tea used in Michael Ranji's presentation earlier, and is the face behind the Kericho Gold brand. Peter has vast experience as a tea exporter and thought leader in navigating global price volatility and value-added exports. It's an excellent example. We're also joined here by Mr. Dushant Ratwat, the CEO of Brown's Plantation Kenya. Dushant is a Sri Lankan tea industry veteran and group CEO of 2 large plantations in Sri Lanka. He also holds leadership roles with the Planters Association of Ceylon and is a champion of sustainable practices and in plantation management. We're also joined by Amita Kotwala, Director of Empire Kenya EPZ, a seasoned expert in crafting high-quality blends and ensuring product consistency. Their hands-on perspective will bring key insights into the factory floor for today's discussion. We have Mrs. Sangeet Bangaria. Hello, can you guys hear me? Is everyone on the panel up and running? So let's move to our first question. We also have Brent Mahale. Is Brent Mahale also here? Okay, great. So the first question for today is, what are the key technical or operational challenges facing East Africa factories in shifting from traditional to modern tea processing, and more specifically orthodox tea? Can we start with Peter Kamanga from Kericho Gold?
Sorry, Priya, can you start again that question, because I was in the middle of doing something else.
Yes.
Sorry.
So no, it's about shifting to modern processing.
Yeah.
With the tea industry at a pivotal junction globally, what are the main challenges East Africa tea factories face in moving from traditional to modern processing methods? I'm going to invite you to speak and then have Mr. Mutai answer to this as the regulator, from the regulator perspective. So from a actual entity who's achieved it to what the regulator feels can be done to enable how we close the gaps in knowledge.
Let me answer it in a longer version. I think, Priya, we sold our tea before we planted it. What do I mean by that? We had a ready market when we started producing our tea, and we never had any support those days for marketing our products. So farmers have always relied on the machines they have traditionally been using. Now, when we have this now migration, it's where the farmers are supposed to put more money at a time when the prices have actually sharply come down. Although that question would more appropriately be answered by a tea producer, because I'm at the tail end of the sector, where we are doing now processing of what has already been produced back in the farms. But I feel the producers, majority of them are producing, they are in the dark. They don't know what they're producing. They are the mercy of the auction or the buyers. They don't know what to produce there. So I feel they are producing what they feel the market wants, not really what the market wants, because we're not doing enough research to know what is required out there. And I know a lot of farmers have actually invested on some machinery and they have not been able to sell.
Okay.
So telling them now to go back and start investing on something else, and what they have produced they have been struggling to market. It's always a tall order for them. Then, of course, you have to look at some of these small-scale farmers. Most of those people who are making the decisions have to explain to their farmers why they have to invest huge amounts on machinery to produce something they are not sure where it is going to be sold. So I'm only trying to answer it because I think appropriately it should be answered by a producer. Then I can discuss about my side as there.
Our producer from can we get Mr. Dushan from Browns to sort of speak to plantation management and the movement and the process of value addition and the knowledge gaps in training or access to modern technology from your experience? Dushan?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here. There was a small technical issue. Yes. Yeah, actually, when you look at the Kenyan industry, we have been, traditionally producing the CTCs. But if you look at the world's demand, it's beginning to move more towards the orthodox tea. And I see that the orthodox demand in Kenya is growing. If you can, that I'm sure some of the buyers and the brokers who are there will be able to confirm that. But when you talk about the orthodox manufacturer per se, we see found some challenges, especially the equipment that we have here is still not 100% geared to the traditional orthodox manufacture that we do in Sri Lanka. So I think this is one of the areas that a lot of focus has to be done, where do we have the right machinery? And I'm sure having some of the suppliers here, they can also, chip in here and, tell us, okay, these are the ideal machines that needs to be done. And especially we have some Sri Lankan suppliers here and some Indian Sangeets and Nihal, so they can confirm. So looking at the traditional Orthodox, you can see the world tea is growing, especially in places like Russia, Iran, Iraq. They are the growing market. If you compare with last year to even to this year's 6 months, we see a steady growth in their buying, except for Russia, because we all know the reason of for it to go down. But we're looking at the quality of the tea. I would say that Kenya also has a huge potential of producing the same quality of tea that Sri Lanka produces. But in terms of color, there can be a slightly changes. So maybe this is where we need to address, and of course we can take it forward whilst we discuss. Priya, thank you.
No, thank you, Dushan. That was very insightful.
Can I add a little to what Dushan said? Yeah, because being a Sri Lankan, I like to contribute a little. Of course, since we are focusing on the Orthodox tea today, I just want to say our 3 aspects that we have looked at it: raw material part, that means green leaf, then the machinery requirement, and the know-how for the Orthodox tea, what is required by the international market. So when you come to the raw material, Kenya is ideal, automatically qualified for everything because of the sap content in the leaf, the topsoil, and the young bushes. So the raw material is ideally suitable for Orthodox manufacture. Then going into the machinery, as Dushan said, we have to get the correct set of machinery for Orthodox tea, which is somewhat lacking here in Kenya through my experience. Then number 3, the know-how. Of course, everyone is hats off for the Kenyan manufacturer. They know in and out of the CTC manufacture, but when it comes to this particular process, so they should apply and learn it to cater a suitable product to the international market. Those are the 3 aspects I'm trying to touch on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Amita. That's very, very, very succinct and clear. And I think we're going to capture this and put this when we circulate our data. Thank you, everyone, for such vivid interaction. I'm going to sort of ask around the policy questions, and I'm going to invite Mr. Mutai from the Tea Board, the CEO of the Tea Board, to speak to us from your experience. What incentives have you offered does the government offer in Kenya? And then I'm going to ask for any one of the panelists to sort of raise their hand and speak to what policies they feel they need from the Tea Board to sort of move with the value addition conversation into Orthodox tea. Is there a requirement on the regulatory standards of what should be produced and the type of equipment? And are there any incentives to tea producers to buy the right equipment for the value addition? Mr. Mutai?
Thank you, Pirna. I think what we have done this year in this financial year is we have pushed the government to assist us on the VAT, on the value-added teas for the packaging material. It's in the finance bill. There is also the policy change in teas at the factory.
Thank you, Ms. Mutai. And
and then
hello, Mr. Mutai?
Sorry, what I was saying.
I think, Ms. Mutai, if we can put your camera on.
Are you getting me?
I'm hearing you, but you're breaking. Can I ask you to put your camera on and readjust your mic? There you are. Perfect.
In the finance bill, the tax exemption on packaging material, which is so elaborate, and we are now putting into the KRA instrument to allow our people who are doing value addition to not to be paying the VAT. There is also a tax exemption on the tea spot at the factory. There will be no VAT. Then in terms of the equipment for modernization, we have asked the government to avail loans for putting up at an interest rate of 5%. As far as today, I think what I saw, the Kenya Developmental Corporation, which is a bank, are availing a loan which is at 5%, and it will give a 2-year grace period, and it will be regrouped under 84 months. This will allow factories to invest in a low-cost loans. So in terms of the selling space, we are digitalizing the space of marketing, e-commerce, and we are anticipating to launch it in the next 3 months. We want to bring up the digital space. We are starting with in the sector of agriculture. We are launching the one for coffee, then followed by the one for tea. And then in terms of pushing up what we call the private labels, we again will be assisting the FDIs who want to establish under special economic zone to come in board. So our licenses again will still be robust. Once we agree with the FDI who is investing in value addition, we will support them to assist others. And again, do so long as they're doing 40% of value added teas, we will go with them. And the existing FDIs, we are still working with them, giving them now to do what we call a market integration between the established supermarkets. And again, we are coming up with an agreement between what we call the CF2FO in the US, who can now finance and who could be coming in between the banks and the producers or the packers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mutai. That's great. And that's a lot more. And I think from my experience, Mr. Mutai and his office are very open for a lot of sort of feedback from the producers and the tea factories. So please, engage us, engage Mr. Mutai, put your comments in the chat. Please let people know that we are working with the tea board to sort of enable value addition, both CTC, but also really importantly, in the diversification of orthodox teas. I would like to sort of set up Mr. Dushyant Rathway from Browns for the next question, which came about, how has your organization integrated automation into the tea processing value chain? How has it impacted your plantation and, more importantly, your bottom line? From a return on investment perspective, has investing in value addition for orthodox tea proven to be something that is profitable? Mr. Dushyant Rathway, and can we ask all the panelists to keep their videos on so we can see your wonderful
Okay.
Amita? Yes. Okay, Mr. Dushyant.
Okay, thank you, Priya. Yeah, actually, getting on to that, there was many questions around here. So going up on the question about converting the CTC into orthodox. So we have got a orthodox plant, and we see the price comparison on orthodox compared to the CTC, even with the sluggish market that we are in, is almost $1. So the demand for, as I mentioned before, the demand for the orthodox tea is growing. And if you look at some of the orthodox producing countries in the past, they have lost a lot of crop. If I may talk about Sri Lanka, we were a country which produced, we produced 340 million kilos. Right now, we are at about 260, 270 maximum. So you see there is a 70 million kilos or 60 to 70 million kilos deficit of this particular segment of orthodox tea where people are wanting this. So if you look at converting CTC into orthodox, yes, there is a high cost here. A conversion will never be easy. So that is why I'm sure a global renowned equity bank is coming forward to fund the converters. And I think, the the people who want to convert should be strong enough to take this decision and to say, okay, we are going to convert, because I'm sure as the Tea Board and Tea Board of Kenya will do their maximum to support the people who are going to convert into Orthodox, make sure that there is not only just conversion, but of course also to find markets. Then on number 2, with regard to value addition. So I think regarding value addition, I will leave that question to Amita as to how it will help the value addition on this one, on Orthodox tea into the global market. When it comes to cost factors, obviously there is going to be a slight increase in the cost factors compared to the CTC, because CTC you will see you put the leaf from the rotovec and you take it out from the dryer. There is very minimal labor worker handling, but when it comes to Orthodox, there is a certain amount of worker engagement even in the rolling rooms, where you may have to spend some money on that. But when you look at the return on Orthodox compared to CTC, it is very negligible. So therefore, I think it is very important that the Kenya also converts, that some of our factories should convert into Orthodox, because the returns on that investment is very fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dushyant. That was really informative. And I think there is a lot to be said about Orthodox as a diversification versus a replacement. So there is that profitability conversation, which I'm sure more people would want to know more about. Next question we have is for Empire Kenya EPZ, which is a fantastic EPZ and is represented here by Amita, Mr. Kotawala. What role do you see East Africa and Kenya playing in the future of global premium tea market, especially in Orthodox and specialty teas? Is there an export market for it? And do you think that's something that people should consider as a product diversification as they move into value, as we're incentivizing people to move into value addition? Mr. Dushyant, if you can mute so that Mr. Amita can speak.
Yeah. Since you're aimed the question at me, starting from again what Dushyant stopped from the previous question. Actually last year we touched 598,000 kilos, so million kilos at an average of $2.890, right? That's the average price realized for all CTCTs. Suppose if you convert 10%, right, into Orthodox tea at an average of, I would say minimum $3.80, then the value jump is for the 10% 227 million. So and also without staying there, going to another 20%, another 10% additional 20%, then you will have a value jump of 454 million. Of course, if we have that 20% as it is, you get only 262. So there you have the value difference of 192 million USD. So that itself shows where we are going. Actually, the Orthodox is not a specialty tea. It's a method of manufacture to enhance your value. Before you going into value addition, within our setup, we can enhance the value to $2.80 on average. I mean, at the lowest, just to touch on Sri Lankan prices at the moment. They are FBOP going at $6.5, BOP1 $6.6, then FF1 $4.8, FF $4.5, OP1 being the highest, $7.5 to $8 per kilo. Then the OP 5.10, 5.10. Then the OPA, where we struggle at the moment here, still they are getting $5. Then the PECO $6 to $8. So then the special grades going in the range of $12 to $15. actually this is the easy process, because we are justifying whatever we focus on orthodox, because we are going to have markets, provided you make a true to type grade where internationally accepted. Okay, so because, and also another phenomenon in this particular orthodox tea is, unlike CTC, like for instance, if BP1 fails in a sale, market collapse, the whole market collapse, PF1, BP1, PD. But whereas when you have a range of grades available in orthodox, there are different market segments for each grade. So one market fails, other markets they are to hold on. So we will not lose out in the long run at all. So that's a phenomenal factor in orthodox, right? And also, man, when you come into the correct type of grade, we have markets: Iran, Russia, Poland, China, Turkey, Iraq, right? So just to say that Iran, we are covering FOP, FS special, PECO, FOP. Then Russia, OPA, FOP, OP1, like that. I'm just giving a small example. Our grade mix can fit in. So, I think converting a percentage of our team rather than converting the whole factory, where whilst you are keeping your CTC intact, we are giving another line, at least 10 to 20% to get the value addition in there itself. So that will be a wiser thing, because since we are happy with CTC, we are only catering to our traditional market, Egypt, Pakistan, then UK and all. But here, we are taking a chunk out to convert into a value tea. So there we are making creating another demand for our existing CTC teas by taking that particular chunk out, and that particular chunk also converted into a better average tea. So thereby industry is going to benefit. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Amita. That was really, really great. No, and I like the fact that there is a future for Orthodox tea and specialty teas. And as strategic shifts, I'm going to invite the last panel conversation for today, question for right now, but we will have a further Q&A at the end, because we do want to introduce the discussion about equipment. And I think as we move into, why we should spend money on value addition, buying equipment from the OEMs that we will be introducing you to, is the question, and this is for Mr. Peter Kamanga from Global Teas again. With strategic shifts, Kericha Gold has made leaps and bounds in positioning themselves as a premium quality, both on the specialty and the CTC. From a perspective of certifications, traceability, what do we need to do now as a tea industry to capitalize on the opportunity of orthodox teas and specialty teas, and why having the right equipment do you feel will enable people, exporters and blenders like yourself and other people, value add actors down the value chain, to buy orthodox tea and specialty tea from Kenya? Mr. Kamanga?
Thank you, Priya, for that question. You see, among the giants who have been producing tea, that's China and India, Kenya is a baby, considering China started about 5,000 years ago. India started in the 1820s and Sri Lanka about 1860. Kenya only started in 1927. We are here to celebrate 100 years. So we are going to occupy a space that has been occupied by other people. So, and one of the things we need to do, we have to seriously incentivize value addition, because we are going to replace a packet which somebody else had taken earlier. To this end, I want to thank Billy Mutai, because of the interventions they are doing on addressing the issues on VAT and import duty. Michael mentioned about Kericho Gold getting about $86 per kg. I wish we could be getting that. But one of the things you need to appreciate is that on a packet like Richo Gold as it is, 70% of the cost of that packet is packaging paper alone, packaging materials only. Tea and labor is about 30%. So it's paper intensive, and any tax or duty imposed on packaging paper directly impacts on the cost of that product. At the moment, the duty is supposed to come down from 35 to 10%, which is still substantial, but there's still an excise tax of 25% on that paper. The alternative is to move into an EPZ where you are exempted from those taxes, but then at the disadvantage of losing the local market. And in this case, we talk about domestic market is the EAC market. So you have a case here, you have to choose whether you want to be in the EAC or outside the EAC. These are the choices that disadvantage us as buyers, as sellers to invest, because we are told you can, if you are packing for UK with a 60 million population, you can get into an EPZ, but at the expense of losing a population of 300 million EAC community. So you're saying which is a better market? I'd rather go to the EAC market, which is 300 million. Then we also have to look at the logistics, moving tea from one point to another one. Priya, if you look at Kenya, at the moment, we are consuming about 400 grams per person on average. 400 grams per person. If we push that to half a kilo, with a population in Africa of about 1.5 billion, we are producing 750,000 tons, which means we can literally consume everything produced in Africa within Africa. The problem is logistics, moving tea from point A to B. We still need more incentivizing, because we are now having these emerging trading blocks where I was previously selling to DRC from the EPZ. Then suddenly they come to the EAC community, I lose that market because it has become a local market as opposed to the foreign market which I was exporting to. So then we're also seeing a lot of now packers going to these functional beverages. This is basically a beverage which does more than just basic hydration. You want green tea with lemon, green tea with mint. Some of these additives we have to import. And of course, they are coming in at a very expensive cost and taxes and restrictions. So in as much as you'd like to pack the way that person wants, there are restrictions on the additives you are supposed to put, which are required by that market. So my dream would be we should look at Kenya becoming an international hub. See, if you go to Japan, say a place like Japan or Germany, they are looking for aggregation. Like they don't want to buy from Kenya, they go to buy from Uganda, they go to buy from Malawi. They want, can we get somebody in Kenya who can source everything from Africa from one place? Rather than using 20 buyers in Africa, we want to source our products from one person in Mombasa or in Kenya for that matter. So if we have that liberty to bring all the components, if somebody wants Malawi tea in the US, I'm able to pack Malawi tea in Mombasa for the US and label it as such. Because when we narrow our exports only to the Kenyan component, it means somebody will find more value operating from Dubai, where now you can call all the components within that region, if you call it Africa region, into that hub. So we still need more interventions on the materials we are using. We also need to get into these spaces of negotiating bilateral arrangements. I'll give you an example. Most of the tea machinery imported into Kenya is from India. India, they are charging Kenya tea imports 110% import duty. But these machines are coming from India at zero duty. There's a room we can try to say, okay, look at it this way. Why can't we do 50 million kilos water? Because we are also giving you a preferential treatment on the machines which are importing. Then we can also export some tea at zero duty so that we can entice them. The other thing is we And luckily, we are having a Tea Expo, Orthodox Expo in Mombasa on Friday, because we have all producers producing different grades and calling them one name. If I want
That's
a
the
BOP,
key part of why we're having this webinar, is the different variety of standards.
So today, if I get an order for Orthodox teas like a BOP, and we started getting a lot of those inquiries from China, I have to ask for a factory to send me a sample to see whether it qualifies to be called what I want.
So
unlike
you're
the
saying,
See, unlike the CTC, where I say a BP1, I know what a BP1 looks like. But when you tell me a BOP from Matunwa, in one of the factories in KTD, probably doesn't look as like a BOP from another factory within KTD or within another plantation. So one, we need to harmonize the grades so that we know what we're talking about. Then we need that liberty to blend those, because these are high value, for high value teas. There is a perception that Orthodox teas are high quality teas than CTC. Possibly right.
Thank you. And that's a perfect, that is a perfect segue. That is 100% a perfect segue into what we're trying to talk about here with OEMs. So thank you, Mr. Kamanga, and thank you for everyone on the panel. I wanted to say that to all our panelists, please stay on for the Q&A at the end. Your insights have been truly terrific. I would like to indicate that Orthodox tea, the biggest challenge that have been highlighted both at the wrap up by Mr. Kamanga and a variety of other conversations today, has been about standardizing the grades, harmonizing the quality. And I think a lot of that, from what we've come to understand, has been from the equipment we use and the processing and at the processing level. So we're going to, without much further ado, I'm going to briefly introduce from our asset finance team, so that when you go in to meet the OEMs and the manufacturers, that you have in the back of your mind that Equity Bank can help you finance them. I'm going to introduce Fenwick, because as a financial enabler, our General Manager of Asset Finance, Fenwick, he's going to have a very short presentation, not more than 2 minutes, just to let you know that we do asset financing specifically for the tea sector, both on the assets, but also on the tea products. Fenwick, over to you. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, once more. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Thank you, Fenwick.
Thank you. Yes, so very enlightening conversation, especially on the industry, and appreciating all the insights that are coming through. So my name is Fenwick Mbaka, as I've been introduced by Priya. If we could move to the next. Yes, so as Mr. Kimanga has mentioned, different qualities of tea then would become difficult in terms of presentation to the buyer, so you'd have to keep sampling them. So I think mechanization probably then would start from the farmer in terms of how we can enable them standardize the production of tea, which then would ensure we have efficiently quality tea. And then when we come to the tea factories, there is a challenge of or fear of mechanization, as has been mentioned, from CTC to Orthodox. But where Equity comes in is we will partner with you. We will understand your financial cash flows and make sure we match them in terms of what you're repaying, and then give you a good duration so that the longevity of the machinery is also taken into consideration, that you do not have to bear the brunt of the cost of the machinery upfront, which will of course lead to higher returns since you have more quality tea. And then as exposed, there'll be more partnerships across the region and the globe. And the farmer is assured of increased and stable income. Next slide, please. So I will just go over through this very quickly, where we just want to align that the farmer is able to timely produce tea and get it into the market, to the factories. So the factories are able to produce this and get it timely into the market globally now, since we have gone global. Thank you. Next. And so to make this easy for the factories is we will look at this financing holistically. From what level you need to upgrade, whether it's only the machinery and equipment, whether we need to do some additional equipment into the factory to enable you upgrade to have the highest quality. So we will have a relationship manager come across to you, evaluate what your needs are, so that you package it as one, so that you don't have piecemeal financing. When you're doing an aggregate, I believe you'll get better returns. So we'll work with you on this journey, and then that will determine the kind of collateral that we shall engage in. Yes, and then just to let you know that especially for machinery, we are very competitive with tenures up to 10 years and up to 90% financing on the equipment. This we shall also, of course, have engaged the OEMs. And as just a sub-mention, depending on the kind of asset financing we are doing, whether it's asset-based financing or leasing, there are partners who we can engage with to add value in terms of technology and other things on top of the machinery. So Equity is ready to work with you. And next, yes. So I've mentioned on this. Next. Yes, so just to wrap it up, that we are ready to mechanize and help you mechanize, because on the production, that is what will lead to the quality, as we've all agreed. So the asset finance is what we shall bridge this gap. And we are ready to collaborate with the OEMs and other partners to help the farmer and the factories as much as possible. And this will also match the innovation technology. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you, Fenwick. I see Dushyant has his hand up. Dushyant?
Sorry, Priya, sorry. Just by mistake. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? Our panelists are really motivated today. So thank you, Fenwick. That was a great presentation. We are doing a variety of agricultural mechanization initiatives. We did a lot of work, as he presented, with the tractors. Now we're trying to focus on mechanizing tea and optimizing it for value addition, especially around diverse product lines like specialty teas and orthodox tea. I mean, there's a quick fact. Did you know that for orthodox tea, you can get 2 to 5 times more on price than you can on CTC. So, and this really benefits the smallholder farmers. So as we move into meeting the OEMs, I want you to know that while you're spending money on value addition and scaling, the bank is here to provide the liquidity, the debt financing to enable that transition. So it's less of an obstacle, but also know that in the long run, the returns can be up to 5 times more profitability in terms of revenue on price from orthodox and specialty teas. And Kenya has, as Peter Kamanga and the panelists has indicated, we have barely scratched the surface from East Africa on orthodox and specialty teas. I want to now hear from the technology innovators, the original equipment manufacturers. You'll hear me talk about OEMs. It stands for Original Equipment Manufacturers. Equity Group is proud to bring the original manufacturers who are designing and supplying crucial machinery all around the world to powerhouses and tea processors globally. Each of them will share a brief 2-minute introduction about their company and what they have to offer the East Africa factories. And of course, we will be sharing their company profiles to everybody here. So if you have any questions while they're presenting, or if you'd like an introduction, please drop it in the chat. Please drop it in the Q&A. We have a big team behind us at the group sort of catching these informations. And again, I will encourage you all to put your questions in the chat in the group, and whatever we don't get to in the Q&A after the presentations, we will answer and circulate to everyone. Please know we'll be having the OEMs introduce themselves, and then we're going to have a really big Q&A session for about 15 minutes. And if we extend past our time slot of 3:30, which I have a feeling we're going to overshoot a little bit, I do welcome you to stay on so that we can have a more robust Q&A after the introductions from the OEMs. So we're going to start with, from both international manufacturers to the local distributors, I want to introduce Rishi Bagaria. He's the director of Steelworth PVT Limited from India. It's fresh. Steelworth is 75 years at the forefront of tea manufacturing innovation. Mr. Rishi, if we can ask you to put your camera on and we will highlight you on the screen. Steelworth brings proven turnkey processing systems trusted by factories in over 35 countries. This is the original equipment manufacturer of Steelworth. Rishi, over to you.
Thank you, Priya. Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Fantastic. I'm going to ask the team to take off your background because okay, go ahead.
And a very warm welcome to all our delegates together. I am Rishi Bagaria from Steelworth, and it's a very nice pleasure to see you all in this very important webinar today. On behalf of Steelworth, the pioneers of tea processing machines, with over 75 years experience, it is our great pleasure to welcome you to this high-impact webinar, one that brings together some of the most dedicated minds in the tea industry, factory owners, management team, technology experts, as well as machinery manufacturers. We are truly excited to be a part of this meaningful conversation. Kenyan tea holds a very prestigious place in global tea markets the world over. Yet, like all industries, we face challenges from rising production costs, as well as outdated equipments, to over increasing quality demands from international buyers. We at Steelworth, we believe that the answer lies in innovation, in adopting modern equipment and smarter factory solutions that improve processing efficiency, reduce operational costs, and ultimately increasing profitability. We at Steelworth, our mission goes beyond machinery supply. We partner with you to deliver tailor-made upgrades that meet your specific needs, right from plucking to packing, whether it's introducing CTCs, dryers, precision sorting machines, flexible processing lines that support both CTC as well as orthodox styles of manufacture. We believe that money saved is money earned. As you're aware that almost 20 to 30% of our cost of production is taken away by electricity and the power costs. It is high time that we refine all our equipments to make them more power efficient. We can guarantee that with our machines, we are well balanced and well machined with the latest technologies. And we assure you a much efficient power drive solution. The webinar is not just a discussion, it is a call to action, a chance to rethink how the factory runs, how the tea is valued in the market, and how we can elevate the global standing of Kenyan tea. Thank you once again for joining us. Let us build together to the future of tea, stronger, smarter, and more sustainable. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Wow, Rishi, I think that's going to be a hard act to follow. I think that call to action, money saved is money earned. Guys, did you know that Orthodox tea really makes it more profitable for the smallholder farmer? And you're so right. The tea has always connected people, and whether it's today or yesterday, tomorrow is the future. So thank you, Rishi. I'm going to now invite Sangeet Bagaria, director at TI Global, another Indian company, but operating in Kenya for many years. TI Global is India's biggest tea factory, tea machinery powerhouse since 1949. It sets the bar with cutting-edge automated systems, revolutionizing energy efficiency and consistency in CTC, orthodox, green, and specialty teas. And the key thing to remember about orthodox tea is the profitability comes from the reduced involvement of mechanization. It's ironic. You mechanize to reduce the handling of the tea for taste and quality. Sangeet, are you there? I can't see him.
Yeah, very much here.
Great. Hi, Sangeet.
Yeah. I hope you can see me. Yeah, Priya?
Yes, we can see you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Please tell us about TI Global. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Priya, for inviting TI Global to this webinar. A warm welcome to all the delegates, to all the participants, to Willie Mutai from T-Board, and all the esteemed panelists. A very warm welcome from TNI Global. So TNI Global set up its shop in Kericho about 10 years ago. And by coming into Kericho, we were luckily able to get a closer insight into how the tea industry in Kenya was panning out. We were quick to realize that the overproduction of CTC teas and the shortage of orthodox teas world over will definitely play an impact. And to that effect, we were lucky to set up 4 or 5 tea orthodox factories in and around Kenya at an early date. Factories like Mara, Evergreen, Sangalo, they came up very early and they have been able to realize the true potential of the orthodox realization right now. So that has set a good example for the others to follow. And I'm sure with the financing facilities which your bank is offering, it will surely encourage other factory owners, producers, cottage factories also to follow suit. We also did a small cottage factory for Ernest Tea, which is around Kericho, where they had access to 3,000 to 5,000 kilograms of leaf per day only, but still managed to create some beautiful teas. They have been exporting to Germany, and they have also set up a very good example as to high quality specialty teas with really really good quality of leaf can be profitable and sustainable. So we are very happy to engage with other producers and offer them the latest in Orthodox. And as you rightly said, in Kenya, we have the advantage that the production factories are automated, minimum handling of labor, and very, very energy efficient. And that will surely be a great plus when tea production is compared to countries like India and Sri Lanka, who follow still some traditional methods of production which are high in energy and cost in labor. So I'm sure going forward, if we align ourselves to the world requirements of orthodox teas, the grades that they want, I'm sure Kenya will set an example like how it has set an example in CTC. We will also be known for orthodox teas. A warm invite to everyone to Kericho. We have our factory set up where we also have machines on demo. We have the complete orthodox machineries on demo there. You can walk in and see what they look like. And we have a large team there who are also not only supplying the machinery but trained in orthodox production, in grading, in withering, and the finer aspects of orthodox production, which we feel we need to exchange with our customers. So thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity. It's a pleasure to be a part of the tea fraternity of Kenya, which is very positive, very forward looking. And I'm sure with this kind of deliberations, we will easily sail this boat and come out victorious as we have done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeet. That's fantastic. And I just want to remind everyone that he's invited everybody to Kericho to his demo farm for TI Global. Just please note all participants and all tea factories. Equity Group is here as part of our Pillar 3 strategy that Brent spoke about, is connecting and market linkages. We will be linking anybody, so please drop it in the chat on the Q&A if you want to be linked to anyone specifically. We will be sharing all the OEMs factories around. For now, Ms. Joy De Benedetto, our Group Director of Commercial Global Affairs. If I can ask her to put her on mute, that would be fantastic. Apologies. I am also now going to, without ado, introduce Chris Choi Dong. He's the manager of Hanzu Delhi Agroforestarial Machinery. from China. It's powered by over 100 national patents and ISO 9001 certification. Huanzhou Deli Crafts is modular, easy to service machines and perfectly tailored for agile modern tea factories. Now, something that both Sangeet and a lot of our panelists have spoken about is craft brands of tea, and that's where the future is going. People want to buy craft tea, specialty tea, orthodox tea, where the flavor profile is higher and they're willing to pay. And that is why per kilo, orthodox tea can get up to at current rates is up to $7 per kilo on orthodox tea versus the CTC $2. So as we introduce Choi Dong, if I can ask you to put your camera on, I would like you to introduce yourself. You have the floor for the next 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Priya.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much to Incritic Group for giving us such an opportunity. This is Choice from China. Company name is the Quanzhou Deli Agricultural Machinery Company Limited. We are the manufacturer of the orthodox leafy tea machines for complete green tea and black tea processing. Our products cover the entire process from tea garden management to tea production machines and tea sorting machines and then tea package machines. As far as I know, our company currently has the most complete production machines among all tea machinery factories. We have our own workshop for tea harvesters, tea pruners, hair trimmers, and then to tea processing like the tea weathering, tea rolling, tea fermentation, tea drying, and then for tea cleaning and packaging machines. Currently in the world, the CTC tea still hold a dominant position in the global tea production, except for Chinese market, because Chinese market is mainly for the leafy tea. However, with more and more people drinking pre-leafy tea now, the market for the leafy tea is slowly rising. And our company is constantly improving our equipment in response to market trends. Our top 3 markets are China, India, and Sri Lanka. With our production already have many clients in India and Kenya and Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, we cooperate with the bronze company. There's a big tea buyer, name is GM. Maybe you know him, Mr. Huang Dianwei. He cooperate with us and he buy our machines and sell in Sri Lanka and also in Kenya. Even in Kenya, he sold about 30 to 40 tea rolling machines for the orthodox tea processing. Because in China, tea machines, especially tea rolling machines,
I think you've covered your mic by accident. It's become muffled. You were very clear at the beginning.
Hello?
Perfect. We're back. Continue.
Okay, as is well known, China is the birthplace of the tea, and its tea is mainly the leafy tea. With the development of the mechanization and the increase in labor cost, more and more factories in China are choosing the fully automatic equipment, which can customers for the different types of the automated production or single process automated production. For the current market in Kenya, many steps can gradually become automatically production, such as the weathering part and also the rolling part, the drying part. We also can make them to the automatic type.
So true,
for the future Kenya market. And of course, finance is a very important thing. After all, any equipment upgrade requires capital investment. Therefore, we hope to work with all of you present to develop a feasible plan that will benefit everyone in the development of the Kenya tea market. Thanks for everyone, all the friends. We hope to work together and let's do better for the Kenya market in the future and the world tea market in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Dong. Thank you, Choi. That was fantastic. Now, modular, easy to scale. We have financing to help with that. I now would like to introduce from Helix Engineering, Chitanka Fernandopole. Helix Engineering is a Sri Lankan machinery manufacturer and engineering consultancy specializing in tea processing systems, including custom-built tea factory automation, drying, and material handling solutions with 3 decades of experience. Chintaka, are you able to put on your video so we can see you? And you have the floor for the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can see me.
We can. Great. I hope you're pinned.
Good afternoon, everyone. The previous panelists, I think, provided a good overview of the orthodox tea markets, both in Sri Lanka and Kenya. And I would like to introduce the role of Helix Engineering as a key player in this space. Helix Engineering specializes in engineering solutions for the orthodox tea industry. We design and supply all machinery required for Ceylon-type orthodox processing, from withering to packing, and ancillaries such as steam boilers and firewood splitters. We have commissioned 12 orthodox lines around Africa, starting with Sorwate in Rwanda back in 1998, and including 6 KTDA lines, among others.
Wow.
The world's best orthodox teas have a few things in common. First, good leaf quality. Second is excellent withers. And third is gentle and effective rolling. The best teas are made in the rolling room. We are one of 2 manufacturers of Ceylon orthodox tea rollers in Sri Lanka, and we apply nearly 27 years of experience in African orthodox manufacture to our machines, designs, and engineering solutions around these machines. We partner with producers to design plants which maintain high quality and efficiency at scale. Our expertise in turnkey factory design, automation, and equipment supply is vital to boosting productivity and product quality. Today, Helix Engineering is part of a vertically integrated group of tea businesses, which includes a plantation, 7 orthodox tea factories, an export and value addition arm, branding, and distribution of our own global brands, as well as engineering. We bring to the table decades of engineering experience in orthodox tea and generations of knowledge in manufacture and marketing these teas. As Kenya's orthodox tea sector grows, partnerships with Helix Engineering will be key to accelerating technology adoption, enhancing processing standards, and expanding market access in line with Sri Lankan orthodox teas. Through collaboration and technology transfer, supported by industry leaders like Helix Engineering, Kenyan producers can strengthen their positions in the premium global tea market. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end of the session.
Wow, thank you. That was very to the point, and this is fantastic. This brings us to our last but not least OEM, Original Manufacturing, the CEO of Gamini Engineering from Sri Lanka. A lot of Sri Lankans today. That might have something to do with the fact we have a Sri Lankan in our team. There is Nalin, the Gamini Engineering. Sri Lanka's tea heartland, I guess that's also why, since 1977. So Peter Kamanga is right. So Kenya tea is very young compared to India and China. Gamini Engineering combines plantation insight with precision foundry craftsmanship, delivering rugged, high-quality machinery made for long-term value. So if you guys want long-term lifetime value, seems to be the company. Nalin, if I can ask you to put your camera on, and Chitika, if we can ask you to put yourself on mute, so Nalin can take the floor. You have 2 minutes, Nalin.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to participate in this equity group holdings webinar. And on behalf of Gamini Engineering Works Private Limited, Sri Lanka, what we have done to the tea industry, we'll talk. We don't have to just this thing. We are one of the best companies around the world where orthodox tea processing with innovation Sri Lankan engineering solutions with manufacture know-how is presented to the factory or the producer. Actually, as told by established in 1977, 4 decades of serving the tea industry locally and internationally. And we do manufacture original equipment for Ceylon Orthodox tea. And that is, and that too, we have the ability, and I think which most of the people doesn't have. We are a firm that has in-house foundry and fabrication ability from withering up to the end product, that is up to packing. So like wither, rolling, drying, shifting, and then up to the end product packing. So of 47 years trusted excellence and commitment and quality innovation, we have been there in the market for more than 4 decades. And I would very proudly say that we do build custom-built machinery tailored for industrial demand, designing for any factory up in par with global standards. And we do have for all our equipment, what we supply, a readily available spares and reliable after-sales service for orthodox Ceylon tea manufacture. And furthermore, we are a team which gives not only the machinery, training of trainers, and up to the end product, your tailor-made end product is done with our expertise and handed over by training of your people who are not very conversant in doing the orthodox manufacture. So very correctly said by all the previous gentlemen, correct set of machinery and the know-how is very important when you go into orthodox tea manufacture, and especially orthodox tea manufacture, the way Ceylon tea orthodox tea manufacture. So it's only an outline of Gamini Engineering Works Private Limited. Anyone is free to question me or to contact us for further information. We are very happy to have you all, even in Sri Lanka, to visit our factory and to see what we are doing, and seeing is believing. So an open invitation for anyone, and would like to work with any tea producing factory in the future. Thank you very much once again for giving us the opportunity to participate in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Nalan. Thank you. And thank you to all the manufacturers and all the OEMs in the call today. We now are going to go into our our Q&A. We have questions for everybody, and unfortunately, we have kind of run out of time, but if the participants are willing to stay on, I know the panelists and the OEMs are here for another 10-15 minutes, so we will continue with the Q&A. But if any of the participants need to drop off, it is now time. We will be circulating both the video link and also the questions that are answered post the Q&A. So thank you to all our OEMs. It's clear there is no shortage of innovation or capability, and we hope today sparks future partnerships to bring these solutions to life locally. Innovation may start with machines, but it's powered by people, and today we've seen just how powerful that community can be. So thank you to all the OEMs, thank you to all the panelists. First question we have is for Sangeet Bagaria. We have seen over the last few years that value-added prices do not reach the factory manufacturers who always suffer. What initiatives or safeguards can be done to make sure producers and thereby farmers realize better prices? This one I think we're going to give to the Kenya Tea Board, and then I'm going to ask any of our panelists to put up their hand, and the first one I see will get to answer that question. Mr. Mutai, what are we doing to help facilitate the benefit of raised prices for orthodox and specialty teas to filter down to the manufacturers and the farmers? Is Mr. Mutai?
Jambo. What
Hi,
currently
Mr.
what we are
Mutai.
doing is we have done current mark initiative approach, where each and every current mark sells direct to the various market destination. With the latest, which they arrived yesterday, was from China, and negotiating with the international packers. Like the trip that it happened last week was now going to the buyers direct and arranging on what we are calling is the specification orthodox teas production. The number two is we have a robust group which are standardizing the orthodox based on the global grades. If it is OPA, OP, is that what we are doing. Another that one is we are launching on this Friday 18 an auction opportunity or avenue into Mombasa auction. So we will be going live to make sure that people want to buy the available orthodox teas produced in Kenya. They can now bid competitively in the auction. The volumes are now in good position, and it can be traded now easily without now as a buyer going to the factories. You can go to the auction space and you can be able to bid competitively for any volume that any buyer wants to buy. So that is the initiative that we are doing. We have also mirrored up by putting a robust engagement between the people who have been in orthodox in terms of machineries, and then again in terms of the expertise. So there is so many guys who have worked in big brands in Sri Lanka, and they are doing it in Kenya. And those are guys who have really set the base, and they have really made it possible for diversification to come into being. So what we are still remaining now is engaging now on fine finish orthodox value-added forms, which now will reach to various brands, be it China, be it the global markets like the one which are in Africa or the Europe. And then lastly now is we have engaged what we call inviting the specific markets which have been buying the orthodox, like the chairman, which have arranged with them a robust engagement that they will come and meet from the source to the various packers in the global market, which have scheduled a meeting with them for 2 weeks engagement. And they will be joining Kenya in the month of January for 12 days. And then Kenyans also are going in the month of August. I think that those are some of the initiatives. And again, we are doing the China-Kenya Tea Festival in October, end of October, to make sure that anything that is needed in the global market are matched on that day. So we will be having a China-Kenya Tea Festival in Kericho. Those are some of the things that I've planned for this year, this financial year in government. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mutai. Sorry, my camera keeps switching itself on and off, technology these days. The next question comes from Kibenati. Thank you so much. What are the critical challenges that face the East Africa tea factories and what are they going through which are the critical and what are the critical initiatives we can adopt to solve for these matters and improvements, if at all. So, in terms of, with your experience, I'm going to address this to Mr. Dushant of Brown's Tea. And then I would like to ask, I've asked any of the other panelists and OEMs to sort of speak to that. But Mr. Dushant from Brown's, with your experience in both India and operating in Kenya now, what are the critical challenges that face the East Africa tea factories, and what can we do to mitigate this as a collective?
Yeah, thank you, Priya. I think first of all, when we are converting from CTC to Orthodox, one of the critical factors that we have to look at, I would first of all talk about not only about quality of tea, but about the space in the factories. Some of the challenges that many factories will see is when we are converting from CTC to Orthodox, the space requirement for Orthodox is about twice as much as we need for a CTC line. So this is one of the critical factors that the current existing factories, when they have to change from a CTC line to a Orthodox line, might have to face because of the space problem. But also, if you look at the initiatives that we are talking about, how we could face the challenges, it's one of the key points. Is one of our panelists spoke is about the leaf quality. Yeah, leaf quality is a key factor because we need very good leaf, or I would say very good leaf, at least 80% good leaf to get a good product of tea. So those are the key challenges. But of course, I must say that in Kenya, we still have many hand-picked tea that is ideal for Orthodox. Nevertheless, even the machine harvesting tea, if you pick at the right time, that leaf quality is very ideal. I'm talking about with the experiences that we are having right now at our company. We don't see that as a challenge. It's about timing. So that is something that we have to look at to see what is the right time that we need to harvest our tea to get the right tea for our Orthodox manufacture. So one of the other key factors is about experience, because unlike CTC, Orthodox tea has about over 12 to 14 grades, different types of grade, which Amita spoke and some of the panelists spoke, that we are not only looking at these 4 or 5 types of tea that we are producing here, but we are looking at 10 types of tea or 12 types of tea that we are producing. And each type of tea has a different countries segment, I would say. So we are not only concentrating on 2 or 3 countries of trading, but we are looking at many countries where we can trade this tea. So I would say that is it's not a challenge. Actually, if we go into Orthodox manufacture, there is wide range of countries that is looking at these teas. So the critical factor is whether we are making the right type of tea. So the nomenclature of the Orthodox tea that we are going to manufacture should be for all Kenyan teas, for all. So that is one of the key factors where the tea board has to get involved and drop a nomenclature. And I also, like a panelist mentioned, harmonize the tea grade so that different manufacturer is not going to have different type of OPS or OPs, so that all of us have one type of tea. Of course, there can be a minimal change, but then in Sri Lanka, I would say there is a nomenclature for every grade. So it's very easy to identify. Everybody is used to it. So those are the little key factors that that challenge us, that as a new entry of mass scale of production, we'll have to face, or at least we'll have to learn with some experienced Orthodox manufacturers as to how we should get about into harmonizing this tea nomenclature and the tea grades. Thank you.
you, Mr. Dushan. That was really informative. And I think that emphasis on standardization of quality is something that we're trying to address and really emphasize in this webinar. And I think so that's a great segue to our next question, which is from Susan Miner. So thank you. And I think it's a great question because it sort of frames what we're trying to talk about. And, sort of orthodoxy is a premium product, unlike CTC, which is crushed tear curl. And the diversification into orthodox tea has a value proposition. And Susan Miner has sort of combined this question, and it sort of adds into what is the value proposition of orthodox tea as compared to CTC. Now, and this, I'd like to address this from three elements of the value chain, from the exporter to the manufacturer, and then finally to the processor of finished goods. So I'm going to ask Amita to sort of start this off from Empire Tea, and then Nalan to chime in from an OEM who worked around the world in installing orthodox lines, and why his clients have diversified into orthodox and specialty tea. And then finally from Peter Kamanga, a local success story. Amita, if you'd like to start with the answer of what is the value proposition of orthodox tea.
Once again, to answer your question, taking the relay button from Dushan, as he said, we are at the moment confined to only few grades. Totally, even one particular large entity also, they are confined to 7 grades, whereas the market demands for wide varieties. Right, at least we will have to touch 12 grades to begin with, because we are losing BOP ones, FBOP, the true type. Of course, there are people, they make it, give the grade, but it's not. And again, as we said, with the help of the Tea Board and the IATA, we should get the proper grade nomenclature, because we have seen people, for the sake of making grades and coming out with different grades, different varieties. But we should, like CTC, how we do, standardize the grade nomenclature, from there to move forward, right? Then you ask how it's going to benefit the farmer, producer, and our client there. So begin with how the farmer is going to benefit. Of course, as you said, it's not 5 times, of course, of the value. Actually, certain grades are the 5 times of the value. If you take the orthodox tea as a whole thing, it honestly 2 to 3 times of the value we get it. So from $2.19, what we give it to the farmer, why not we reach $3.80 and give that major benefit to the farmer? That is one way to get the farmer. Then we, as a exporter, we need true to type of product, what is acceptable in the international market. I will not mention the Sri Lankan name, now we are Kenyans, so we will accept that particular thing, right? Then easy for us to sell our product. Then because all these buyers are waiting to have that particular kind of a product, so then we are in a position to demand a better price, and it's saleable in larger volumes. So in turn, we get the benefit, and also Kenya as a country get the benefit. Then third thing, and we are used as end producer, end receiver, our clients, they also expect the same thing. For they buy the true to type of product, and easy for them to put into their packs and the value chain, whatever. So they get benefit from there. They will pass down the value to us, and from us it goes to the farmer. It's a cycle of event. So that's how I look at it here.
Thank you, Amita. That's so fantastic that, the profitability starts at the cup being sold at the end user and trickled all the way down to the farmer, because of the fact that the margins are, up to 5 times more. Then I would like to invite Nalan to speak from his experience from markets, not just in Kenya, but globally, on why people pay him to install his manufacturing equipment. And I know he has a special place for Orthodox tea. Nalin?
Actually, when you say Gamini roller, tea roller, plays a very big role in the tea industry of Orthodox tea, and as well as equipment supplied by Gamini, the roll breaking machinery, the grading, all that plays a very big role, and we have been there in the market for more than 4 decades. And at the same time, our management team, me being a planter, that is hands-in operation in tea manufacture, and my managing director, Mr. Sanka Gunasekara, being an engineer who is doing all the engineering work, we give a tailor-made package for any factory. And tea making, Orthodox tea making is an art. It just doesn't work like you have to know the know-how to do a correct sizing, manufacture, a grade. All that is very important. So we, as Gamini engineers, we have all that to give it to the producer.
Thank you, Nalin. I can see Sangeet wants to weigh in, but yes, you're right. Processing Orthodox and specialty teas is an art, and people pay more for art. So, there it is. Sangeet, thank you, Mr. Nalin.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I would just like to add on here is a couple of things. One is Kenya has a unique advantage of the weather, the crop, the leaf quality, and the quantity, and also establish itself as a quality tea producer. So Kenya has a good edge going forward already. Coming to the infrastructure, yes, there are some challenges. Factories have not been built for Orthodox. Sizes of factories are smaller. But also one big change that has happened is that because of the automation, a lot of the skill has been taken over by the machines. And for us to produce such large volumes of teas in Kenya, the automatic machines will definitely be playing a larger role. So as the factories address newer technologies and more modern, lower cost technologies, they will surely succeed. So that's my little input. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeet. And that kind of segues into our final and last question. But before we get to the last question for the Q&A session, I did want to sort of invite Mr. Peter Kamanga to talk about the value proposition of Orthodox and specialty teas versus CTC, seeing as Global Teas and their parent company play on that diverse range from all the way from CTC Black, local and import and export, on specialty and Orthodox, and also hidden blended for white labeling. If Peter Kamanga can sort of wrap up what he feels the words of wisdom. Peter was my tea teacher, so he's taught me about tea. Mr. Kamanga?
Yes, I think, Priya, as a packer, we see the demand for better quality teas is growing, both Orthodox and CTC teas. And it is basically globally beverage market people are upgrading. And it's very easy to know who produces better quality through these search engines like Google and the rest. So we stand a good opportunity because a consumer out there would know where he can get good quality products. For a long time, you see, consumers out there do not know Kenya tea, but the packers do. So we have relied on marketers who are out there. So I think the challenge we have now is as people upgrade, we have to be well positioned to supply what they want. As Kenya, we have an advantage, number one, because of the high quality black teas we have, which are pesticide free, unlike teas grown in very many other countries. We have significant production volumes, competitive pricing, and of course, a strong brand recognition. So I think, like I said, critical should be how we position ourselves as far as value addition is concerned. We are seeing more and more demand on traceability policies. So the shorter the supply chain, the better. with consumers becoming more paranoid about teas packed outside the tea growing countries. So this thing of tea has moved from Kenya via until the final consumer. We're seeing now consumers now getting more closer to the producer. And if we are positioned to be able to produce and pack our products here, number one, we of course jealously protect that quality, which cannot be blended or adulterated out there. So I think we need more finances availed to the packers so that we are able to value add what is being produced. Because you still find our teas are slightly cheaper when they are value added outside Kenya as opposed to being value added inside. And considering that 95% of our teas is still going out, I think we need to be more keen and support value addition. And I really wanted to ask a question because there is that issue which was raised about financing agriculture, whether these same funds are availed to packers or it's only limited to the production side. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. That will be our last sort of question on the CTC, but there is a very important question that was posed by our food and agri team lead. And I think it's one that has been mirrored in quite a few other comments, is as the region struggles with, and this is more about social impact and how diversifying and building the tea economy is going to really transform and provide stability from a social and sustainable impact perspective, which supports our tri-engine approach as Equity Group, where we try to focus on economic impact, but at the same time, we do not leave behind social and sustainable impact. The question is, as a region, and this is going to be to Mr. Mutai primarily, and then I'm going to invite one other person, I think Rishi, to speak to that on Stewart. But as a region struggled with youth unemployment, are there any available initiatives that the regulators, such as the Kenya Tea Board, our factories, our processors, and other actors are putting in place to promote affordable establishment of cottage value addition facilities? How can we create more cottage brands? And can this be complemented by banks such as Equity to finance establishments? And what are the needs for establishing cottage factories? I know, Sangeet, you spoke to this earlier, and Troy, you mentioned that you do modular scaling. But if I can invite Willie from the Tea Board to sort of speak to that would be fantastic. Thank you. Mr. Willie Mutai? Mr. Mutai?
I think he stepped out, Priya. He actually sent a message. He's stepping out for another meeting.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so.
Well, I would then like to invite Mr. I feel like I'm calling on the factories a lot, but I would like to ask Mr. Dushant from Brown's Plantation what we can be doing to support. I mean, as one of the bigger plantations, is the cottage industry a concern for you? And having grown Browns to where it is historically from that market, as Mr. Kamanga says, India is our big brother in tea. What can we do in Kenya to promote cottage tea brands, but also drive employment and affordable sort of scaling of specialty teas and specialty factories?
Yes, Priya. I think what we need to do is we're talking about the CTC. CTC is has five different grades, and we do in large scale packing. But when it comes to orthodox, I'm sure that many factories can have their own value addition plans and have their own brands. We see in some countries that they have their own brands, like a private labels, which actually can be unique for their own estates, their own marks, giving the locality, the elevation of the tea, giving it could be a niche tea that that each factory can produce compared to some other big players like us, where we will be looking focused more on large scale production. But if you take the private tea factory owners who are willing to convert their factories into orthodox, they can have their own private labeling, which will enable them to employ some of the youth and skill them into this sort of value addition packing, and that will give more opportunities for the youth that we are talking about. The unemployment can those the youth can be employed for this value addition, because and that is going to give each brand an identity of its own, so that that this unemployment issue will be reduced. I wouldn't say it can be zeroed, but can be reduced in time to come. And also when it comes to orthodox manufacture, and there will be a very skilled way of harvesting the leaf, and also there can be more employment even in the farms, harvesting that leaf, and in the manufacturing process. So like, okay, we know that that we are looking at more mechanization, we are looking at more automation. But as I said previously, there is a certain element of workforce that we will need for orthodox manufacture compared to CTC. So by doing so, there will be a considerable amount of employment opportunities in way of moving into orthodox manufacture, plus having your own brand as and marketing it. So I would say that going in for this orthodox manufacture will create more opportunities for employment than having unemployment. Thank you.
Mr. Dushan, that really does help us. And then I think centralizing, one of the things I know Mr. Mutai would have spoken about is if you can't afford to set up your own orthodox line, because as you said, Mr. Dushan and all the big and the factories out here, setting up a processing line for orthodox tea requires certain volume, but there is common use facilities that the government is setting up, that the Tea Board is promoting. But also as factories, you can pull together and access financing from Equity Bank, Fenwick, Michael, and you heard George Macharia, our head of credit, Agri in Kenya, who are here to support financing of centralized equipment, centralized packaging. And this then in turn creates a new job opportunity and employment opportunity for the youth, but also for what we call private marks. And these private marks is something that we need to talk about, and it's something that sort of Dushan has raised. We are having, and Mr. Kamango, we are having more discerning customers at the end, at the point of sale in America, in China, in India, in Kenya, and UK. People buy tea by brand. And this discerning requirement for quality and diversity and taste profile is something that comes from at the point of value addition, from the point on how we process, how we pick the tea, but how we process the tea and how we brand and market our tea. And that's something that I know Mr. Mutai from the Tea Board, they do a lot of training for the factories. So if you want to participate in that, please let us know. But we've come to the end of today's webinar, and what a session it has been. From leadership insights and market context to cutting edge technology and financing models, we've seen a complete picture of what it takes to modernize East Africa's tea sector, and the opportunities for the diversification from our standard commodity CTC into specialty and orthodox tea. On behalf of Equity Group Holdings and the Tea Board of Kenya, we thank our speakers, our panelists, our OEMs, our machine manufacturers, and every participant who joined us today. Let us continue these conversations and partnerships beyond today as we work together to unlock the full potential of East Africa tea and take it to the world. As we've seen today, the future of tea isn't just brewing. It's boiling with opportunity. Tea has always connected people. Today, we've brewed a stronger connection and network between OEMs, value additions, packers, processors, financiers. And so let's keep pouring into each other. Have you noticed my tea puns? And as we move forward, please contact us at Equity Bank and Equity Group and tell us who you want to meet and who you'd like to be connected with. Let's stay steeped in collaboration, rooted in innovation, and driven by purpose. Thank you for joining us now. And now it's out there to go brew some brilliance. I want to sign off. I want to appreciate all our panelists, our manufacturers, our speakers, the CEO, Mr. Mutai, and I would like to recognize our back office team led by Joy De Benedetto, AQ Hamza, Patricia Janik, Marvish in absence, Beatrice Nyamburi, and Fenwick from our asset finance team, and from our F&A team, Nawa, Michael Ranji, George Masharia, and yes, we have quite a comprehensive team and we're committed. So let's go out there and brew some brilliance. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining our webinar. We will be sharing the recording and we will be circulating all the answers to all the questions that we didn't get to in today's session. Please clap for yourselves and please, let's go have a cup of tea. It's tea time in some parts of the world. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice session. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good event. Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice meeting you.